Hi there, I'm Jack Van Ryn, Mayor of the Town of Coaldale. I want to give you a brief outline of budget meetings that we've been having over the course of the last few weeks, and we finished last evening, December 20th. We passed our capital and operating budgets, and as per the Municipal Government Act, Town Council, we must pass a 3-year operating plan and a 5-year capital plan. And the budget cycles are from 2022 to 2024 for the operating side and 2022 to 2026 for the capital side. And as I mentioned last night, we passed the operating budget, and for 2022, it's $20,371,436, and the capital budget is $17,141,259. These budgets resulted in a municipal tax increase of 1.72%, and what that equates to is if your home is worth $300,000, that's a tax increase of $41.34 a year. And if your home is worth $500,000, it's $68.90. So that works out to $13.78 per year for every $100,000 of assessed value. And on the non-residential side, it's $17.25 for every $100,000 for, again, non-residential, so that's your commercial or your industrial spaces. One thing that we also had to do last night was upgrade the utility rate bylaw for the sanitary flat fee. So as part of the aerated lagoon upgrades, which was almost a $13 million price tag, and 37.17% of that was funded by the provincial government, and the rest by you and I, the taxpayer. And as part of that, we had to pass a $4 million debenture that we're going to be taking out, or a loan. It's a 10-year term, and to fund that, it's going to take a increase in our sanitary flat fee effective January 1st of $6.97 per month. And then it's going to be a further increase in 2023 starting in January of an additional $6.97 per month. And that will pay for the financing on the $4 million loan, and also it will allow us to hire one additional utility operator that will be required at the new facility at the aerated lagoon upgrade. So that's going to be taking effect January 1st. Other items that were passed as part of the capital budget last night were projects that were approved by the previous council, and the first one being the multi-use recreation center. And that project started out at 13 million, and it's 2,750,000 over budget now. So it's got a new price tag of 15,750,000, and the overage on that was passed at last night's meeting. The Northwest Coaldale infrastructure upgrade, so in other words, for the new rec center and the new school and the future development going on in that area, they increased the sanitary, I shouldn't say increased, they installed new sanitary sewer water, did new road work, and that project is $520,000 over budget. So the original price tag for that was $3,250,000. It's now $3,770,000. Again, that project was approved by previous council, and it carries forward now into our new capital budget. And another one, that the Civic Square, that project, the original price tag for that was $5,830,000. It is now $565,530 over budget. That brings the new value of the Civic Square project to $6,395,530. So if you add those three overages together, those cost overruns alone, added to our capital budget, $3,835,530. That was carried forward. A few other items. I'm just going to give you a snapshot of what was discussed and approved last night. And pathways, there's going to be phase 1 being completed and phase 2. Phase 1 is the pathways that go by 8th Street, and it's going to go south of the dog park along the canal, and then it's going to cut down between the dog park and the new mountain bike park and join back up to 20th Ave or Main Street. So that pathway, and then also phase 2 will be the pathways going in and around the new rec center and school location, so that we can connect between North and South Coaldale. So that was a $490,000 price tag. We also carried over $11,000 on our Highway 3 corridor that was originally budgeted for $175,000. So that's when you're driving through Coaldale heading east or west, doesn't matter which way you're going, you'll see all the newly landscaped little islands that they put starting at the post office, and they go all the way east of the town office along the highway corridor. And there's some property there owned by Alberta Transportation where a couple of houses got torn down, and we're turning that into a green space. If you drive by there, you'll see that there's some hydro seeding that was completed this fall. They put in an irrigation system, and it'll be a nice little green space that we're carrying $11,000 over from the previous budget to the new budget. The replacement program for the water distribution plant. So Coaldale gets its potable water from the city of Lethbridge, and it comes to a pumping station that's behind the Sportsplex. And there's 5 pumps that take the water and push it throughout our municipality. So they've been slowly replacing those pumps, and that was a $90,000 budget item. And so we're going to continue doing that until all 5 pumps are replaced. The fleet replacement program, so as far as the vehicles town staff have, it was previously at $55,000. We increased that by $5,000 to $6,000, or $60,000 I should say. And then as part of the program, older vehicles are pushed down throughout the organization based on their useful life. The another budget item that was carried forward, the Malloy Phase 2B. So that's for South Coaldale for overland flooding. That's a project in partnership with the SMRID, Lethbridge County, the provincial government, and the town of Coaldale. Total project is $3,100,000, and the town's portion of that is $280,000. And we're going to be building another water retention pond south of the current Cottonwood Pond that's going to catch overland flooding, and then it's going to be pumped to the decommissioned water reservoirs that are over by the quads. So that's another budget item being carried forward. Some of the new capital expenditures is a new emergency service truck for the fire chief. That's a $80,000 price tag, and $34,500 of that will be paid for by Lethbridge County as per our joint fire agreement. Another capital item was the quads automated irrigation system. So right now, to water the quads, the grass in that area, it takes approximately 20 hours of labor per week to turn the water on and off, and they do it during the day. And so we're going to automate that so that it'll come on by itself, and then we can water during the evening hours. and so that way you're not watering during high temperatures, and and then you risk the increase of water evaporating, in other words, wasting water. So that's a $60,000 price tag. And then coming up in 2023, we're going to set aside $110,000 to complete the top layer of asphalt. In 2022, we have the following equipment. We're going to be purchasing a new single axle dump truck for $180,000. We're going to purchase a new mower for $130,000. For those that don't know, we have 120 acres of green space in Coaldale that we need to care for, so this mower is needed. We're also going to buy a broom attachment for our Bobcat for $8,000, and they can assist Parks Department with snow removal during the winter months with this new broom attachment for the Bobcat. And for on the operational side, we are going to budget $40,000 for to keep going with our records management project that was started by previous council. So that is to electronically file every document that the town of Coaldale has, so that it's easy to find. We're also budgeted, and I spoke about this before, a video timestamp for our live stream. So that's $6,500 up first year cost, and then $4,750 after that. So that is so that if you're doing any kind of research and you want to find a agenda item, you can just go through on the town website, find the link on the agenda, you click on it, and it'll automatically take you to the video or the live stream where that agenda item was discussed. We are also on for Coaldale and District Emergency Services behind the fire hall. We're going to spend $20,000 on putting a steel grate. There's a drainage swale that runs behind the fire hall. And to finish off that project, we're going to put a steel grate, and that will make it easier for the fire equipment to drive in and out of the fire hall without having to drive through that swale. Speaking about the fire department, we also budgeted $6,000 for a summer internship program for 2 students from Kate Andrews that'll work part-time at the Coaldale Fire Hall as part of their fire academy. We also budgeted $10,000 for a new system for the photo radar program. It was mandated by the provincial government, where we're going to switch to an e-ticketing system. And like I say, this is mandatory, and that's a $10,000 price tag that we're going to be doing. We also budgeted $10,000 for a bylaw officer safety dispatch system. So this program is operated through the Taber Police Department, through which the town would pay a yearly fee, and bylaw officers would check into this dispatch system before responding to a call or complaint after hours. And then the officer is required to check in after a certain period of time. And if this does not occur, then the dispatch system would proceed with designated procedures, I should say, to check in with the officer. So ultimately, it's for officer safety, and this is going to be a yearly $10,000 price tag. We're also going to budget $50,000 to have an emergency services fire master plan done for the town of Coaldale. With all the expansion coming up in the years ahead, in not only in Northwest Coaldale, West Coaldale, East Coaldale, it's time that we revisit that and get an up-to-date master plan as to what needs to be done on the fire side of things. We're also budgeted $10,000 a year for curb stop replacement. So that is the valve that you'll find in the front of your house if you need to turn the water off to your house. And we don't have that right now. And we're going to start doing that on a maintenance rotational way for replacing them, I should say, in older area of town as needed. We also budgeted $75,000 to replace or redo 5 alleys a year. And Currently, it is proposed that a program be funded through reserves. However, the eventual goal would be to fund this through tax support. So we don't want to drain our reserves. We want to do this as a tax support. In Cottonwood, by the playground or behind the playground in Kinship Park, there's 2 water features that have the fountains, and they need to be dredged. So in other words, they're going to bring some equipment in and get all the muck and the silt that's settled into the bottom. And for people that live there, you can see that that's actually affecting the fountains, and it's creating a strong odor as well. So this will mitigate those concerns, and we're going to be doing that in 2022. We have also implemented a fire hydrant replacement program that'll be a $48,000 a year price tag, and the net result for the additional tax funds is to fund this program. On the engineering side of things, we are going to budget $50,000. And as identified in the town's infrastructure master plan, the current water reservoirs lack the capacity required to respond to Coaldale's future growth and development and fire capacity needs. So in behind the Sportsplex, there's a large underground water reservoir, and we need to start looking at adding to that one, and that's something that's going to have to happen in the next 5 to 8 years. And we have to start this planning, and that's going to have a $50,000 price tag to see what it's going to take to make this happen. One other item that we budgeted $50,000 for, and that is looking into a pedestrian overpass and to enhance connectivity between North and South Coaldale, including our pathway system and at grade crossing. So that's to get people from North Coaldale to South Coaldale and vice versa, whether it be through grade crossing crosswalks. There's one going in at 30th Avenue where the new traffic lights are. Also one by McDonald's where it crosses the highway. And then eventually pedestrian overpass. So we're going to start the planning on that. Another item that we budgeted for is $10,000 for Main Street. So as part of the new Civic Square project, the outdoor community spaces, we want to buy some tables and chairs and some patio, movable patios for businesses, so that the project that was started for the revitalization of Main Street can continue. We also budgeted $15,000 for the planning and development or intermunicipal development plan, and the IDP was amended in a minor way to adjust the alignment between Lethbridge County and the town of Coaldale as part of the 2018 annexation, and Lethbridge County and the town of Coaldale want to finish that off and tweak it. And we also budgeted $25,000 to start on a industrial area structure plan. So our current industrial park is completely sold out now, and we have private developers that purchased a portion of land just north of Coaldale, and as part of that, we are going to work on an area structure plan for the entire piece, not only the portion that they purchased, but there's other landowners that have available land as well. So we are going to do an area structure plan for that whole piece, and then that way it can be done all at one time. And then as those lands become available, then the town will recoup its costs from those developers when the time comes for them to actually start the development. Parks and Recreation, we are going to add one additional staff member, and that's a $55,000 price tag. And Parks needs additional help. Like I said earlier, we have 120 acres of green space. We have 10 playground structures. We have 8 sports courts. And the additional staff member will provide additional resources for the town to keep up with the increasing demands of the park department. And it'll be split between parks and recreation throughout the year. excuse me, we also budgeted $5,000 a year for pathway and trail maintenance, just for upkeep on our pathway system. We also budgeted $10,000 for the new mountain bike park maintenance to keep that up and running every year. We also budgeted $10,000 for a small project at the library, a renovation for an alcove to enclose an area with plexiglass in the door, and that gives greater flexibility to the space and more privacy for using the area. So that's basically it in a nutshell. And I encourage anyone to reach out to me with any questions regarding the capital and operational budget that we passed last night. And there was a $151,279 shortfall. And as a result, we're going to be raising taxes 1.72%. And if from a comparable point of view, like 1.72 compared to other communities of our size, we're still on the lower threshold. So I'm quite proud of our council to work through this. It was painstaking, and at the end of the day, there was 3 motions passed, and one was to do with the multi-use recreation center, and Councillor Saylor, he had to recuse himself from that vote because he has a business venture going into that facility. So there was 6 members of council present for that, and Councillor Reese moved that council approve the revised capital budget for the multi-use rec center for all inclusive sum of $15,750,000, and that was carried unanimously. And then Councillor Saylor moved that council approve the 2022 to 2024 operating budget, and that was carried 5-2. Excuse me, with councillors. Deputy Mayor Jason Avery and Councillor Jason Beekman opposed. And then Councillor Chapman moved that council approve the revised 2022 to 2026 capital plan as presented, excluding the multi-use rec center, which I spoke of earlier. And that was carried 4-3 with Councillors Pickering and Beekman opposed and Deputy Mayor Jason Avery opposed. So again, that's the recap of our budget meetings. So please reach out. I'll have my contact information at the end of this video. And I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas on behalf of Council and a Happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you on the street. Make sure you stop and we'll have a chat. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.